Okay, you mentioned that you mentioned about your son. So you have joint children, right?
Yes, we have a son. He's now 25 years old.
And he was born, as I understand, in the US.
Yes, he was.
So he is a compatriot of my son.
Yes.
Okay, and he lives in the US, right?
He does. When we moved to Saudi Arabia in 2007, my son was 14 years old. He had grown up to that point in Florida all of his life. So when we moved to Saudi when he was 14, it was a very, very difficult time in his life.
Yes.
Being a teenager is difficult for any person. So I was hoping that he would be able to look back on his time in Saudi Arabia as a growing time for him, getting to know his father's family and culture. He didn't have a great experience while he was here, unfortunately. My husband became very strict on him, and it was difficult. We were, this was the first 3 years when we were living here, so I didn't have many friends either, and we both felt very isolated, my son and I. So it was a difficult time, and the one good thing is that we got very close. We were always close, but we got even closer. And then my husband agreed to send my son back to the US because he was just not happy there. So when he was 17, he left and went back to the US to finish school. He hasn't been back since. So, you know, it kind of hurts my husband, but we see him when we go to the US during the summer. So it's okay. It's getting better.
Okay, so overall, his experience with Saudi life and Saudi traditions wasn't quite pleasant, I would say, right? So it was quite difficult.
Yeah. Right. As far as the family was concerned, it was fine. He had a good relationship with them and had a lot of fun with his extended family here. When he had trouble in school, I don't know that he was choosing the best friends at school and making the best decisions while he was here. I know that he was depressed. It was difficult. One thing that happened to him that really was not a good experience for him was he was going to a friend's house one day after school, and he was going to take a taxi. And so he somehow got into a car with two strange men who said they would take him, that they were a taxi. First of all, I don't know any taxi that has two drivers or two people manning the taxi. So it wasn't a very good decision for him to get into the car with them, and they ended up robbing him and literally throwing him out of the moving car. And that really was a bad experience. Fortunately, someone was passing by, and they stopped and helped him and let him call us so we could go pick him up. And so it turned out okay. The only bad thing was that, you know, his phone was stolen, but it really left a bad taste in his mouth about being here and about making bad choices. So it wasn't good.
Yeah, and did he attend the local school here or international school?
He went to the American International School.
American International in Jeddah, okay.
Yeah, for 3 years.
So of course it was a little bit kind of relief, because international school is quite different from local schools.
If you think about it, he had gone to school in Florida all of his life until he was 14.
Yes.
He wasn't really fluent in Arabic.
Yes.
So there was no way he could be enrolled in a Saudi school.
Oh. By the way, this is what I would like to ask you, whether he speaks Arabic or not.
My husband has always spoken to him in Arabic since he was born. So my son has an ear for it. He was always very shy about speaking Arabic, but when he went to the American International School here, he had to take Arabic. So he got better in it, but now he's been gone, for so long that
Yes.
He's probably not as good at Arabic as he was while he was here.
One more question about your son. Is he Muslim?
Oh, well, that was up to my husband. I didn't have a problem with him being raised as Muslim. So I would say that he is Muslim, but he doesn't really practice like most Muslims do.
Okay, I see. Okay, so and now we are approaching at some final questions.
Okay.
So you already kind of touched a little bit about your life in Saudi Arabia, that it was pretty tough in the beginning because you didn't have a lot of friends and so on and so forth. And yes, I understand this because I'm here also for 3 years. I have been here for 3 years and I understand how difficult it is. But right now, what can you say about your everyday life in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I can say that living here has really grown on me. I really love my life here. I have a much more active social life here in Saudi than I do when I'm back in the US for the summer. I have had a lot of doors open for me just through my blogging. I started blogging when I moved to Saudi Arabia, and at that time there were not very many blogs coming out of Saudi Arabia. So after, I don't know, maybe a year or two, I started also a photo blog, Jeddah Daily Photo, and the blogging really changed my life. Moving here really changed my life in so many positive ways. I just can't begin to tell you all the ways. Otherwise, I would have been in Florida and, had a quiet life. But here, I've just learned and grown so much, and my life is just so different than it was before we moved here. I just really, every day, I could do something socially every day if I wanted to, but I find that going out, I really need to plan things and pick and choose what I want to do, because sometimes with the horrible traffic and the heat, it's just not worth me going out and making the effort. So I'm very picky about what I do with my friends, and obviously I do a lot more things during the winter months when it's cooler and I'm not so hot every time I go out. So the heat does restrict me because I don't like it, So a lot of days, a lot of weeks, I'll stay home doing things. I have a lot of hobbies that keep me busy. I quilt, I make jewelry, I do photography and Photoshop, I write my blogs. I have a very large Facebook group on Facebook, and so that keeps me very busy and on my toes, and I'm very, very busy even when I'm home. So I have a really, really good life. I still find living here very exciting, and I still feel, even though I've been living here now for 11 years, I still feel like there are so many things to discover, and I feel like I'm new here, and I see things through fresh eyes. So I don't know. I just love my life here. I really do.
Okay, and one more question about your friend circle here in Saudi Arabia. Are your friends or those people, let's say, maybe not close friends, but those people you kind of socialize with, are they primarily local people or expats? Who are they?
Well, I think I have a mix of friends that I socialize with. Most of my friends here are expats, and a lot of them are women who are here to work and are only here for a few years and then they leave. So I've seen some friends go already, which is sad for me. I also have some Saudi friends, especially in my husband's family, and others that I've met through my husband's family, Saudi women, and they're just wonderful people. The thing that many people I know in America don't understand is that Saudi people really like Americans. I know a lot of my American friends feel like Saudi Arabia hates Americans, but it's just not true. What they don't like is America's foreign policy, which we won't get into. But they're able to separate politics from the people, which is something that Americans don't seem to be able to do right now. So I have many friends from all over the world now, and that wouldn't have happened to me if I hadn't have moved here and just stayed in Florida where we were. Mm-hmm. I've got friends from all over. It's amazing. It's amazing to me.
And probably final question. So if you look back at your life here in Saudi Arabia, you have already quite a lot of experience, I think. So if you summarize your experience in Saudi Arabia, what would you say about pros and cons, likes and dislikes about Saudi Arabia?
Likes and dislikes. Well, okay, likes, I love the food here. I don't like the weather so much except in the winter time. I don't like the fact that it doesn't rain so much because I really love rain, and I think that not having rain here makes everything so dusty and feel so dirty. I don't like the traffic here in Jeddah especially because it's so congested. I, by the way, have not gotten my driver's license yet, but hopefully I will. What I do like is the excitement. I love the nature of the people here, the culture, the art. There's so many things to appreciate and love about life here. And I think it's difficult for other people from the outside to understand that until they've actually been here. I love going out on the Red Sea. I go snorkeling, and it's just wonderful. My husband loves to go fishing, so we go out quite a bit. And it's a very relaxing life. What else can I tell you that I love? My husband's family is very good to me. And I feel very lucky. That's
okay. Thank you so much, Süzi, for your interview. Okay, so I really enjoyed. Happy birthday once more. Happy birthday to you, and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.